Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. So guys, it is part 2 on the Fiesta. I have got a few bits and pieces for this now so we can have a good crack on with that. I'll show you that in a second. Before we do, England are obviously out of the World Cup. That was last night, so is what it is. Argentina, very, very hard team. Anyway, we all knew that, so yeah. World Cup fever is over for England. So yeah, I'm going to show you what I've got, and then I'm going to explain what hasn't turned up, what has turned up, and then we're going to get cracking with this one. So let's do this. Right, okay, guys, it's part 2, and obviously the first episode I just took off the wheel, showed you the damage, which was that there. It looks like. So I've got some bits and pieces for this one now. I did get a lower arm, I've got to be honest, just because I can't trust that's not been damaged at all. Normally when the wheel gets hit, it normally means that this needs to be replaced. And obviously this is the bit that looks like a banana, which is the rod. But I did get a new track rod end as well. Just because, you know, just because I'm taking it apart, let's just change the whole set, really, rather than just, because that possibly would be all right. The original one is normally all right on these, but you don't know how worn it is. So it's good to replace that. Also got a new timing belt kit and water pump there. So we can make a start on doing the timing belt, the water pump, the service. We could do all that as well. How far we're going to get today, don't know. I really don't know at the minute. I have got a wheel as well, as you can see. That's the old one, the original. And this is a second-hand alloy, but brand new wheel tyre. It has got a brand new tyre with it. And this was from Gala Motors over in Benfleet. So yeah, good 6mm. And you can see, you tell, like, obviously, that it's more or less brand new because the little bubbles are still there on the tyre, and they normally sort of just go after a little while. But massive amount of tread on that. So yeah, it looks good. It looks good. So we can use that one instead of that rubbish old thing. Yeah. What else? I've ordered another wing mirror. I thought I had one of these, but I haven't. So I've ordered one of those. That's on its way. I've also ordered the back box for the exhaust. That's not here yet. That's on its way. When that turns up, we can crack on with that. So, yeah, I think the first thing to do is get in this corner, do this suspension work, lower control arm and stuff like that. And then we'll move on. So I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, okay, guys, we are all off. So all damaged bits and pieces have now been removed. The actual hub looks a lot central to the actual wheel arch now, so that's good. But I'm going to show you the damage because this is the reason why I wanted to go ahead and just remove and replace the lower control arm, because you just can't trust that it's okay. Because obviously when you're looking in there, you think, oh, that looks all right. That don't look bent. That looks all right. I've done it many times. But it's never the way. It's never the case. It's always got an issue, always got a problem. So I just went ahead and just sort of knew that I had to just change this lower wishbone. But if I line it up at the bottom there, so that's all lined up there, that's lined up there as well. So that's where it should be. But look how far it's out. Look how far that is out. That is crazy. So that will definitely have an effect on the position of that hub if I just left it in. But I would have noticed that straight away. I would have changed this new one, put that on, put it back on, put it back together, and thought that wheel doesn't really look lined up. And I would have measured it. I would have put the wheel on, and it just wouldn't look right. So I would have had to take off and change this. So I thought, let's just change it. And I was correct. So, yeah, we're going to put this new one in, put this new one in, put the new track rod end as well in place. I'm only going to be able to put that track rod end on this here. How many times I took the old one off, and then you have to turn it back on how many times you put the new one on, and then it's got to go for tracking after I've done all this, because you just can't get it right. It just never happens. It's just when you're messing around with suspension and you're messing around with steering, the position of the steering arms and stuff like that, you just cannot get it right. So you might as well just get all these parts changed, get it over to tracking, get them to track the car up so that it's all nice and straight, and then yeah, that should be this part done. So let's get set up. Let's carry on. Let's get these new bits, get them all back together, get the wheel on, and then we can move on from this corner, and we can just push on to doing the timing belt and service. So yeah, I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, we're getting there. So all the suspension parts, lower control arm, and the track rod and rod end, all been fitted, and the wheel back into position. I haven't dropped the car down yet on its wheels to check that, to make sure it's all okay. It looks good. It's not that bad, but it's got to go for tracking. It has to go for tracking, because you just never get them spot on where they should be. So then after that, I started jumping on the actual timing belt and service. Now, as you can see, I've started to strip down the actual front of the engine. I've dropped the oil as well and removed the oil filter. So that's all been dropped. Coolant's been dropped as well, so that's out. I've removed the headlight and I've removed the alternator that sits just there. It just gives me better access. I always do this. You don't have to do this, but I always do it. It's just easier to get to that's the water pump right there. It's just easier to get to the water pump bolts. There's one at the bottom, just underneath where the alternator sits, because the alternator bolt goes into that bit there. It's just easier to get to. And the other thing I do as well on these, again, you don't have to, but I do, is to remove the front intake. And the reason why I do that is because it's easier to get to the starter motor, which is right down there. You can see it just down there. That's the starter motor there. Once you remove this, there's so much space, because you have to remove the starter motor to lock the flywheel. And it's just easier just to remove all those bits and pieces. But so far, so good. No issues. Just going back into, I used to do loads of these, didn't I? When I used to do, a couple of years ago, all I used to do was Fiestas, because I knew Fiestas were just selling. And you always try and do what's selling the best and the quickest. And it was always Fiestas. Now it's moved on and everyone wants an automatic. So that's why I do so many automatic small little cars like this, is because so many people want them now. And it's just supply and demand. That's all it was. So back in the day when I used to just do Fiestas, I always did a timing belt. Got loads of videos on the channel, and it's just peace of mind for me knowing that when this car goes, or any of the car goes out the door, the timing belt is done. There's never going to be a problem with that, and it's not going to come back to me as a problem, and the customer, the new owner, isn't going to have any issues. So yeah, let's get cracking. I'll set you up. Let's continue stripping this down. We've got to get the cam cover off as well. All that's got to come off. The side of the engine's got to come off. The casing's got to come off. This has got to come off. Loads and loads of bits and pieces still got to come off, guys, until we can't even see the timing belt yet. Can't even see it. So let's crack on. I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, okay, guys, look at that space. Don't get me wrong, you can do this without going a bit too mad. Some people would just mark it, you know, and job done. But I just like to lock that flywheel because it just gives you that extra security and extra, it's not going to move the bottom end, because on the bottom end, all you've really got is a pin that goes on the back of the engine at the bottom. And on the top, you've got a plate that sits on the back and sits on the back of these cams there and there. This is the kit here. So this is the plate that goes on the back of the cams. And it sits like that. And then you've got these two little pieces of metal, one there and then one there. And it pushes it into the back of the cams and locks it on the top end. And then you've got, like I said, you've got a pin at the bottom, and then, you know, that's it really. A lot of people will just do that, nothing else. But I just like to lock that flywheel. Just gives it extra lockage, extra security that it's not going to move. And yeah, it's just, I've always done it this way. I've got to be honest. It's just a better way of doing it. Plus I can see the thermostat is in there, thermostat housing, so you can check to see if it's leaking. As you can see, nice and clean, no leakages on that thermostat at all, so we haven't got to worry about that. We can get to the water pump a lot easier at the bottom here. Yeah, so I'm ready now to sort of lock the engine up, and that's what I'll do. I have removed this spark plug in that number one there. Look how clean that is in there as well. Look how clean that engine is. But I've removed this spark plug from number one, and then what you do, put a screwdriver in, turn the engine over until the screwdriver's right up to the top. That should be top dead center. And then once you've done that, you can then check to make sure that plate goes in, and that pin at the back sort of locks against the actual bottom of the engine. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. So I'm going to set you up. I'm going to lock it all up, and then I'm going to get this cover out of the way, get this out of the way as well. The engine mount's got to come out of the way. I'll get a jack underneath the engine to support it whilst I move this out of the way. And then we will then finally be able to see the belt. I can just see the belt underneath this cover. It looks like it's worn on the top. So whether or not it's the original, don't know. But we're going to change it out anyway and get it all sorted. So let's continue. Let's do this. Right, okay, guys, there we go. That is the belt and water pump removed. Yeah, not too bad. Normal stuff, really. I do enjoy doing these engines. But nothing's moved. It's all locked. Nothing's moved at all. Because, obviously, I've got that the plate in there that locks the actual flywheel. The bar in here that locks the two cams. And then there's a pin at the back of the engine that locks against the bottom as well. So nothing is moving. But I have seen and worked out that this is definitely not the original belt. We've got markings up here as well. On the two top cams, you can see there's a little mark here. And there's a little mark there on the top. And they're both exactly the same. So someone's marked these to replace the belt, not the original belt, for another one, which is gates. So I don't use gates. I take it they're all right, but I've never used them. They're a cheaper version of the timing belt. Originally, out of the factory, they use Dayco. So I've always just gone back to using Dayco. I've never used really Gates stuff. So this has been changed. It's not the original, and it's not the original tensioner as well. You can see that it's quite a newish tensioner. But it's just a shame that someone, once they've done that, like with these Dayco time belt kits, you get like a little sticker, and you just stick it on the service book on the front with when it was done, the mileage and the date. That's all you got to do. But no one did that with this. I have got the service book, but there's no record of the timing belt being done. Someone, whoever done that belt, should have just at least said somewhere that it's been done. But yeah, it is what it is. Not everyone's the same. I take it. And, you know, you don't have to put down that you've done it, but I always do. But never mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that water pump now, and to leave, and then we'll come back to this tomorrow in part 2 of this timing belt and service kit. But I want to get that water pump on so that it can, because I always wipe a little bit of sealant. You're not really don't have to, but I just like to wipe a little bit of sealant around the gasket part of it just to give it an extra seal. So I want to do that before I end today. So let's get set up. Let's do this. Right, okay, guys, there we go. Nice new water pump just there. Just a little bit of coolant, just sealant just around it, not too much. Just helps it just to seal, so there's going to be no issues like later on. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it overnight, and we're going to come back to this tomorrow. So this will be part 1, tomorrow's part 2, and we'll just put the belt on, box it all back up, put it all back together, and just do the reverse. It takes a long time doing this. That's why it takes me a while, but it's definitely worth it, because now I know that it's had a new belt, new water pump, full service, no issues going forward. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. That's the end of today's video. Don't forget, guys, like, share and subscribe. Drop me a comment down below. Give the video a thumbs up. And I'll see you soon in the next one. Take care.